The situation is bad, but what is more worrying is that the government is clueless. On the Newshour tonight on why the government is clueless, Salman Soz of the Congress Party is taking on Piyush Goyal of the BJP. Vandana Shiva is founder, Research Foundation for Science, Technology and Ecology. And she's taking on Rajiv Kumar, Senior Fellow of the Senior Center for Policy Research. Sanjeev Sanyal, Global Strategist of the Deutsche Bank, will be joining us in some time, and so will Lord Meghnad Desai. The problem right now, Salman Soz, let me begin with you, is the utter cluelessness of your government and the growing feeling in your government that you can get away by stating the obvious. You see, Salman Soz, sorting the problems of the economy is not giving a basic lesson in economics. Now, if your government tells people that, you know, we could not push the projects, we will have to push the projects, our manufacturing sector is weak, we have to push the manufacturing sector, we have to do something for coal, we have to build a political consensus, we have to rein in the fiscal deficit. It all sounds like the obvious. I mean, your finance minister could say this today, your finance minister could have said this 10 years back and 10 years into the future. We are asking you whether you have any solutions in mind or whether your government is going to give us an economics class.
Well, Arnab, if you think of what is happening right now, it may seem like the government has, you know, where are the results of what the government has been doing? But please, let's go back to 2012 a little bit. At a time when the UPA was contemplating major economic reforms, one of the main allies of the UPA bolted. At that time, why did they bolt? Because the UPA wanted to put together a diesel hike, an unpopular in some ways diesel price hike. We had a cap on LPG. We came up with FDI reforms. Now, those are the kinds of reforms we needed at that time because of fiscal situation and our current account balance at that time.
But why should I have any sympathy for your problems? You see, you chose to be in government. No, 1 second. 1 second. You're trying to tell me that, you know, Mamata Banerjee left and that's why the situation in the economy is like this. I mean, come on, Salman Soz.
No.
Let's get a little real. Mamata Banerjee left, so, you know, somebody else came in. Are you saying the entire reason?
That's not what I'm saying.
1 second.
I'm not saying that.
Are you saying the country is in this situation today because Mamata Banerjee left?
No. I'm saying, no, Arnab. I'm suggesting that things could have been far worse if we had not made some tough choices then. Now, what happens in economics, by the way, in economies, is that when decisions are made, they take time, you know, for the results to show up.
You had nine plus years, you took no decisions, the time is over, and now you're giving us an economics class.
Arnab, what are you saying? Arnab, what are you saying? 9+ years? I keep hearing about this magical 9+ years.
Yes, I thought...
The first 5 years of the UPA government, we already have an answer from the people of India. They spoke, and they have yet to speak about the next 5 years of the UPA government. So please don't tell me that this government has not done anything, because people of India, I think, are wise enough to know what the government did for them.
I'm not saying it. I think your finance minister is saying it. Your finance minister is saying that the 8th step, for example, let's get a rebut. I'll tell you one thing. Your finance minister in Parliament yesterday...
I'm very glad that Mr. Soz has rightfully said that there is a time lag between economic decision-making and results.
Right.
He just said it on your show. This is something I've been saying for many years. The UPA one reaped the benefit of absolutely wonderful government that 6 years the NDA provided to the nation. We brought fiscal consolidation. We had a current account surplus for 3 years, brought down interest, brought down inflation, 6 crore jobs were created. That really was the golden period, as Dr. Arvind Panagriya calls it, of the Indian economy. The UPA 1, which he suddenly talked about, reaped the benefits of that. In UPA 2, all the scams, the corruption scams, tumbled out of the closet. The finance minister finally has acknowledged that starting 2008, the UPA lost direction. They completely lost fiscal prudence. They brought in money. They took fiscal deficit to 6.5%, threw FRBM out of the window, and used that money instead of investment into infrastructure and capital expenditure like China did. They threw it away in
No, you see the
fiscal
problem is
profligacy and wasteful expenditure without creating assets. That is the root cause of the problem today. They have lost direction. They have no leadership. A non-functional Prime Minister, an NSC which is in control but has no responsibility to the people of India.
Well, they owe a responsibility.
Where interest rates have skyrocketed,
they owe us a responsibility.
Inflation has skyrocketed, and the middle class, common man, poor, rich, all alike are suffering.
Yeah, one second. So, Mr. Soos, please, let's get everyone in, because I know I see your hand go up there, and I must warn you, Mr. Soos, that you're going to be a solitary voice among a lot of people. I don't know how much support you'll get, even from Vandana Shiva tonight.
I don't mind that. I
don't mind that either, but I'm sure you're capable of defending yourself. But it is my duty, Mr. Soos, to remind you and all our viewers today that what Mr. Chidambaram said yesterday, August 2013, is also what Mr. Chidambaram said in May 2004. Exactly. You see, now I have a problem with that. Yesterday, Chidambaram said, and I quote this, Meghnad Desai, let me get you in. You seem to be amused by that, but I'll prove myself that there was Chidambaram 2004, Chidambaram 2014 is an exact replica of each other. On manufacturing, Chidambaram 2004.
Consistent.
Chidambaram 2004. There is great scope for consolidating the growth momentum with special emphasis on agriculture, manufacturing sector, etc. These sectors require massive investment. Chidambaram 2013. The eighth step that we have to take is to encourage manufacturing. Many of you were absolutely right that we have allowed manufacturing to languish for a variety of reasons. How can any country become a strong economy without a strong industrial sector? I mean, the 9.5 years went in between. 9.5 years later, you repeat what you said in 2004. You expect us not to ask you the questions. I mean, we waited 9+ years, Lord Meghnad Desai, for this acknowledgement that we have a problem with the manufacturing sector?
Well, people have been saying to this government and previous governments that we need a reform of the labor laws. Bangladesh has large manufacturing factories, textile factories. Malaysia does, Indonesia does. India is the only country which has medium and high-tech manufacturing, but no low-tech manufacturing. We do not use our unskilled labor. We don't employ them in factories. They rot in the countryside because our labor laws protect the few people in the organized urban sector. That was socialism, and we still haven't abandoned that. So, most of the informal sector has no security, no guarantee, all because the tiny bit of organized sector must be protected. Now, unless we reform the labor laws, there will be no growth of manufacturing, period.
No, but then, well, we haven't.
So
who do you blame? You blame the government? You blame the government, you blame the BJP. Who do you blame, Meghnad Desai?
Who else do I have to blame? I can't blame myself. I blame the government and the general thinking in India that, the formal sector has to be protected by elaborate laws, 4 to 5% of total labor force, and the informal sector can go to hell.
Okay, by the way.
And therefore, we do not have a proper manufacturing sector.
Good point. Oh, by the way, I missed out 2008.
For the government's problems.
No, I missed out 2008. In 2004, Chidambaram said we have to look at manufacturing. In 2008 also he said, our goal is to take manufacturing to double digit. Now 2013 he is saying, once again, we allowed manufacturing we have to now encourage manufacturing. I mean, what stopped you? You were in government. The people of India were not in government.
NSC.
That's why I'm saying an economics class is not what the people of this country want. Rajiv Kumar, what do you think there's an economic emergency ahead? Do you think the government shows the capacity to take us forward?
You see, the problem is that they did formulate a new manufacturing policy. However, having formulated it, all that had to be done to implement it, which is, for example, to remove the 70 clearances that are required for every entrepreneur to stay in business, or to have the 100-odd inspectors descending on the small and medium enterprises, etc. Nothing of that sort was done. Because the problem is that this government seems to believe that they can legislate their way to economic growth. The problem, however, is in the implementation and taking some steps to, and this is now come home to roost. Because what's happened today, Arnab, is This is a crisis of confidence.
Yeah.
It's not a crisis of growth, it's not a crisis of, sort of economic mismanagement. It's just simply that investing community, whether it's domestic or foreign, has now refused to believe that the government is honest about anything that it is saying. So unfortunately, the finance minister puts out a 10-point program yesterday, and the markets take a tumble today. I mean, rather than
what does that tell you? What does that tell you?
Confident about it.
That people have lost confidence.
But what that tells, that's absolutely right. And I have been saying for some time now that what you need is to close the gulf between what you say and what you do. You have to now actually walk the talk. And walking the talk, I'll give you two examples. That is what it requires to be done. If there is a coal problem in the country and 20,000 megawatts are now up there and not generating power, you have to declare that you will privatize Coal India Limited, whose output has been stagnating at 600 odd million tons for the last 3 years.
Yes.
Now what you have to do, therefore, you have to tell the people that we will abolish the APMC Act, which allows cartelization by the traders in the major mandis of Azadpur and Mumbai, and which therefore control the prices of all the perishables. And we have been saying this for 3 years. Now it's not, and the fact is that this is not a crisis which has descended on us yesterday. It's been a crisis in the making. In 2008, the fiscal profligacy, that's where it started. But first and foremost, you have to admit that there is a crisis. You have to say to the people of this country, mea culpa. Unless you say that,
no, they don't think so. They don't think so. They don't think so. You're saying the government should say mea culpa? I don't think so. Vandana Shiva, you think the government is going to say mea culpa? The government's only saying one thing which I am hearing. We're doing okay. We're doing everything right. We only need to improve communication a bit. Which means our policy is right, our directions is right, we are moving in the right way. We just need to communicate a little bit more better. And that's the only problem. So Vandana Shiva, how do you look upon the present situation? And who do you blame?
Well, every dimension of the crisis we are facing today, and I do think it is an economic emergency, is a result of the so-called economic reforms implemented blindly starting 91. If we hadn't locked in our economy so intimately to dependency on an international economy, look at the trade deficit with China has jumped from $1 billion in 2001 to $175 billion in 2012. No matter what your labor laws, Meghnad Desai, and no matter what your domestic trading laws, with that kind of an import dependence, you're going to knock out your agriculture, you're going to knock out your farmers. That is why, since these economic reform policies, 15 million farmers have been wiped out from agriculture. They are not languishing in the rural areas, Meghnad Desai. They are keeping this society and economy afloat. They are our annadatas. And the APMC Act that Rajiv Desai is attacking is our only safeguard against the Walmarts, who we know worldwide drop the producer's share to 2% once they start to...
Oops. Losing the line there.
I would genuinely like to know.
Let her complete. We're getting a line back. Go ahead, Vandana Shiva. We lost you in between.
The main thing is, how did we weather the storm? How did we weather the storm of 2008? Collapsed when all of the US collapsed, because we had not coupled the...
Oops. Well, I think we are just losing the video line with you.
I can't hear what is being said.
One sec. We lost the video line there with Vandana Shiva.
I can understand and I can anticipate what Vandana Shiva is going to say. I don't agree with her, but I know she has a consistent line on this.
Yeah, so that's what she's saying. But I thought the problem...
She doesn't like all liberal reform.
No, one sec. Let's get Sanjeev Sanyal open this up to open debate in a minute. Rajiv Kumar, I'll open this up to debate in a minute. I'll open this up to debate in a minute.
2008 is actually incredible.
No, I open this up to debate in a minute. Now, Sanjeev. Now, Sanjeev, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, let's get Sanjeev from Singapore, then I'll open this up and get you back onto the debate. So, Sanjeev, we have a very self-assured Congress spokesperson, Salman Soz, on the program this evening. And he refuses to admit that it is either profligacy or bad governance which has led us to this situation. The only thing he admitted was the problem of political stability, which he blamed largely to Mamata Banerjee, walking out over FDI last year.
You're speaking for me. I did not say those words. You're speaking for me. I did not say those words.
I interpreted you that way.
I can rebut later, but let him speak.
Hoping to get her back.
Yeah, that was the wrong
I interpreted you that way. Well, in any case, let's get a perspective from Singapore.
Okay.
Sanjeev, you handle global markets.
The fact is,
you handle global markets.
the fact of the matter. Yeah.
Where is the government going wrong, in your view?